Hello and thank you very much for joining us. I know things look a little different, but you are on network. Merry Christmas. To continue celebrating this festive season, we are still giving away a few gadgets. Tonight, you stand a chance of winning the LG V20 smartphone. Details on that are coming up in the program. As you'll be spending money this holiday season, we have info on digital payments for you tonight. We will also tell you about an African method of transferring money across borders. South Africa finally started migrating to digital TV this year. Information on that is coming up. Our discussion is with the International Data Corporation, and we will discuss tech predictions for 2017. Find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. It's the festive season and most people lose cash or become victims of crime. But there are various services that ensure that you don't have to carry your cash during the festive season. Some are provided by banks, with others coming from different disruptors in the market. As it is the holiday season, it might be dangerous to carry cash around. WeChat has introduced its WeChat Wallet app.
We've done studies where we found that the entire process actually takes you about 7 minutes to make your life easier. So if you consider 7 minutes and the amount of time that you would actually save in terms of doing all the other transactions, we just have this one robust app that just makes your life seamless from one aspect to the other. You see, with WeChat and WeChat Wallet, I can text my son, send him money, have him withdraw it, come here at McDonald's, order lunch. There's just so many use cases for it that we believe that our offering is compelling enough for somebody to go through that hurdle of registering for the wallet within WeChat.
You can use it to buy takeaways at some McDonald's franchises, Pick and Pay supermarkets, Spar, and even buy gadgets directly from some magazine advertisements. ABSA says scan technologies are becoming increasingly popular.
Now the new trend globally that's unfolding is the move from contact card to contactless cards. And that is based on near-field communication or NFC technology that is embedded in your plastic. And we're certainly seeing a big trend unfolding in key markets like the US, Canada, UK, and also Australia. And that same trend is now coming to South Africa.
Recently, Standard Bank purchased SnapScan, which is further proof that people are increasingly scanning in order to make their payments. Banks have their own apps and internet banking is still popular. Just ensure that you log out and don't log on public Wi-Fi that's not secure. There's still M-Pesa if you live in Lesotho, Kenya, DRC, and other parts of Africa.
You take your cash into an M-Pesa agent and then you convert that to electronic cash. And then on your handset, you now have the $10 in electronic cash. You can then send, it's a little bit like sending a text message. You can then send that money to the other person, wherever in the world they might be. And that money gets sent as an electronic parcel, if you like. The recipient will then take their phone into an agent, and they then transfer, again like sending a text message, they transfer the electronic wallet to the agent, and the agent will then give them the cash.
So there are various methods of being safe by not carrying cash this festive season. Just make sure that you are secure when using your technology. After missing the International Digital Terrestrial Television migration deadline by over a year, South Africa finally started the process this year. The start was in the small community of the Northern Cape Province. Buleng Modupe has the details for us.
Carnarvon, the first town in the entire country to go fully digital. The town's signal challenges caused by the SKA satellite dishes saw it getting the nod for being the first in line to benefit. The package comes with a set-top box and a satellite dish. Homeowners were chuffed to be the first to access clear quality television pictures.
That is very beautiful now. I can see it. Clearly, is very proud.
In the past, the channels would just disappear for maybe like 1 month. So now we have everything to our disposal. We can watch from SABC 1 till we can choose between the channels. So it's cool.
Communications Minister Faith Mutambi performed the DTT switching on, saying the project had now gained momentum. She says DTT is part of government's initiative to ensure that communities can access factual information at all times.
People are very happy. what is happening, it seems that everybody is so rich, everybody's got big business and what. But in fact, really, the community is very, very much impressed with what is happening in Tenable. That's why I'm saying it's history in the making.
The local municipality also welcomed the initiative.
All South Africans must have access to quality television. Once they have that, they're able to make informed decisions based on the kind of information that they are given. You remember, it's about developmental communication. So we need to liberate our people from being misfed, and then it's all about local content.
Set-top boxes have been made available at all post offices, and those who qualify to be subsidized by government are urged to register.
Because of the frustrations of sending money to her home country of the DRC, Tanya Mukwamu created the MaxiCash mobile app that helps African expats living in South Africa send money home.
This is Tanya Mukwamu, co-founder of a mobile application called MaxiCash. The app is aimed at helping African expatriates send money home.
When one thinks of sending money home, it could be peer-to-peer cash transfers, or it could be buying airtime or paying for school fees or hospital bills. So the list really expands. So it was just making that process a lot easier for African expats, bearing in mind that they have such high fees, going through your traditional agencies and so forth. So we just thought that, that money could be routed to better use.
Being an expat from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Tanya found it rather challenging to send money from South Africa to her home country. This is when the MaxiCash app was born.
It was really personal frustration to begin with, like I think a lot of solutions. I'm an expert myself. I'm originally from the DRC, so I've had that experience of sending money to my parents or anyone I support back home, and having to leave work and take time off, and there's so much paperwork, and often you don't have the right papers. I've been robbed, believe it or not, with all the with cash on me. So it was really just my own experience, and through studies, obviously, I noticed that a lot of African experts and others experience the same issues. So it took the time to study and have the proper technology and make sure the market was ready for our solution.
Because of South Africa's functional banking infrastructure, mobile money services such as Kenya's M-Pesa rarely survive. What makes MaxiCash different from these?
The app is available for download on Google Play and your Apple Store. And one downloads it from anywhere. And we do have some selective markets where you can cash out your funds. So right now, from a cash out point of view, you can cash out in South Africa as well as the DRC, and soon entering into the Eastern African market. We integrate with the FNB e-wallet, so the recipient will receive the money like they would, you receive your SMS, your e-wallet payment is there, and you go to any FNB ATM and cash it out.
Tanya comes from a logistics and transportation industry and fell into the tech world, where she learned a lot, and with the help of other techies, she eventually built an app that will make life easier for others.
Innovative Africans, we love it. Now, Cameroonians are poking fun at their sports minister with a Bidung challenge. Facebook, Twitter, Google and other social media platforms are being sued by families of the 3 men killed at the Pulse Gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. These are some of the tech stories that made headlines in the last week.
When Cameroon's sports minister bowed down and shook hands with President Paul Biya, it could have been dismissed as another day at the office for the country's leaders. But online, the image of the greeting went viral, and imitations of it have caused laughter around the world. The hashtag Bidung Challenge, named after the sports minister Pierre-Ishmael Bidung Poit, has been used in more than 10,000 tweets as people reenact the handshake.
The Bidung Challenge is something that took Cameroon by storm, and what prompted me was the message hidden behind the action, which is to ridicule the way people revere authority in the country.
The trend also questioned and laughed at the rush by politicians to show allegiance to a president who has been in power since 1982, at a time when protests to get him to leave office have gained momentum, along with calls for independence of the country's English-speaking states. Now heading over to Germany. The European Commission said on Tuesday Facebook Inc. provided it with misleading information during its takeover of the online messaging service WhatsApp, opening the company to a possible fine of 1% of its turnover. Facebook becomes the latest Silicon Valley target of EU antitrust chief Margrethe Vestager, who has demanded Apple pay back $14 billion in taxes to Ireland and hit Google with 2 market abuse investigations.
Announcements made by WhatsApp since lead us to believe that there could be either deliberate or negligent omission of information. And as I've said, a statement of objections is us raising concerns, and now the parties or Facebook has its right to respond, and we'll take it from there.
And now we head to the US. The families of 3 men killed at Orlando's Pulse gay nightclub have sued Twitter Inc., Alphabet Inc.'s Google and Facebook Inc. in federal court, accusing the companies of providing material support to the self-radicalized gunmen. The 3 families claim Twitter, Google's YouTube and Facebook provided the terrorist group ISIS with accounts they use to spread extremist propaganda, raise funds and attract new recruits. Similar lawsuits in the past have faced an uphill fight because of strong protections in U.S. federal law for the technology industry.
It is a SABC network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back and thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight. Now, so much has taken place in the technology space this year, from launches of latest smartphones to discussions about narrowband Internet of Things, or NB-IoT. The big buzzword has been blockchain. Today we have John Tallet from IDC, who lets us in on what could be the ICT trends of 2017. Hello and thank you for being a part of our network tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what in 2017 are we supposed to look forward to when it comes to tech trends?
Well, yeah, there's good trends and there's bad trends. So some of the good trends, especially in South Africa, around Internet of Things, smart cities, there's a lot of potential innovation and growth. Some of the downsides, security, 2017 is going to be another tough year on the information security front. And then there are some gaps. The education sector in South Africa is lagging. There's a lot of opportunity there, but we don't see it being explored fully yet. And cognitive computing, a lot of good stuff happening overseas. South Africa is falling behind a little bit in that space as well.
When you speak to education ministries in different provinces in South Africa, they will tell you that a lot is being done in the education space. For example, they are giving laptop computers and tablets to schools. Isn't that supposed to be helping in the education space?
Well, you have to look at the returns on that. We're putting out a lot of technology into schools, putting it into the hands of learners. I don't think enough is being done to really make sure it's being used effectively. And then when you get into tertiary education, we have a lot of gaps, and that's a big challenge. So we're trying to solve kind of old problems with old techniques and just scaling them up. I think we need some fundamental rethinks in the education space, and that's happening overseas. There are some very innovative ideas coming through, and South Africa, with its education challenges, actually has a fantastic opportunity to be at the forefront of those changes.
And the forefront of development, and not necessarily adopting technologies that are already there.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. And that applies in other cases as well. So education is one. Look at utility supply, so water supply, electricity supply. South Africa has some major challenges there, and that's one of the positive areas. We are expecting to see some projects from South Africa really become world-class solutions that we then take to the market, not just to solve our own problems, but also to export.
Machine learning, that's a big deal in 2017, you predict?
It's huge. So AI, machine learning, cognitive computing, this is now developing in leaps and bounds. It's happening so fast overseas. There's not yet much interest in South Africa. We're seeing pockets of interest, mainly in places like financial services and healthcare. But there is a risk that when the tipping point comes, and we think it will be coming in the near future, South African organizations may be taken by surprise. So we're advising customers to start laying the foundation at least. So start getting your data in order, start making sure that you're gathering the kind of data that the machine learning algorithms will be using, so that when you do want to adopt it, you can do it quickly and you aren't kind of scrabbling to keep up.
But while you're talking about artificial intelligence and all those things, we still are in South Africa, where there's been a problem about the digital gap.
There really has. The digital divide is actually getting wider, not narrower, and that's a real challenge. At the moment, most of our efforts to resolve that are really around access, making sure that everyone has access to broadband technologies. We need to go a lot further than that. We need to make sure that it's not just because at the moment it's a wealth divide, because we're seeing fiber, for example, going into affluent areas. But there's also an awareness gap where people who understand how to use the technology can make much better advantage of it. So take, for example, in the education space, children in areas with high-speed internet access and who understand the wealth of education resources online are far better positioned to take advantage of that than children in areas where they don't have access, or if they do have access, they aren't aware of the facilities. So we really need to try to bring those together, or the gap's going to widen.
And that goes back to a big chatting point in 2016, which was the cost of data. In fact, just a couple of days ago, I spoke to a student at TUT who said the Tshwane Wi-Fi that's in the townships is not working at the moment, and there's expensive data.
That is a challenge. It is. We know, though, that the municipal governments are trying very hard to resolve that, and that's very positive. That feeds back to the smart cities initiatives that we think are going to be productive in South Africa in 2017, and also the networks. The cellular networks themselves are trying to bring the cost of data down for students, make sure there's zero-rate access to sites. So that's an area where South Africa is actually being quite proactive, and we think that will continue through 2017.
Cloud systems as well. You predict that's going to grow in 2016, and maybe a lot of people in the private home, the way they understand cloud could be a place to store your information, but in business it works broader than that.
It really does. Cloud is a fundamental change for a lot of business processes. We've seen South African businesses quite slow to adopt public cloud because there are concerns about moving your data offshore, the costs and the reliability of connectivity and so on. We've seen a lot of private cloud, so companies adopting cloud technologies in their own data centers. What we think will happen in 2017 is that we will start to see the major international cloud providers, so Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle, and so on, starting to establish their own facilities in South Africa to service this country and then the continent as a whole. So we'll be quite surprised to get to the end of 2017 without at least one of the top tier providers internationally opening a facility in South Africa.
And mobile in Africa is always a big deal, and we're always predicting new things when it comes to mobile.
It's huge. There's a couple of trends that we think will really hit the mainstream in 2017. So one of those is NFC payments, and that's quite a big deal because as you start to see NFC payment hitting the mainstream, right? So for one of the areas which is very exciting right now is contactless payments for taxis, right? Used by millions of commuters in South Africa. When you put that kind of payment facility in the hands of all of those commuters, then you start thinking, what else could I use that for? What else could I pay for with that? Could I buy prepaid electricity? Could I use it in a store? So that will fundamentally change the way that, for example, M-Pesa struggled to gain traction in this country. So that could. But in the corporate world, we're seeing a tremendous acceleration of homegrown apps, and that's going to more than double through next year.
Right, John Tallet from the International Data Corporation, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
Very welcome, thank you.
All right, sure. Now, we caught up with Cameroonian musician Waxday, and he told us what his favorite piece of technology is.
Now it's time to chop money. So when I step into the club, Rolex, Gucci, Louboutin, yeah, the DJ call my name, yeah, the girls that scream my name. Wax.
Hey, I come out small London. My name Nand, but you can call me Waxday, representing 237 Cameroon. Yeah, and my favorite tech app is my smartwatch because it's customized to tell my heart rate and keeps me in shape, you know, and tells me when I'm in danger.
Till she wine to the floor, in no beat, I saw the saka, makosa yo. Makosa, saka, makosa yo. Makosa, saka, makosa yo. Saka, makosa yo. Till she wine to makosa yo. Saka, makosa yo. Saka, makosa yo.
And remember that we are giving away the LG V20 smartphone. All you have to do is to go on our social media pages and follow us there. Once you've done that, then you can answer this question. Which digital payment method is accepted at McDonald's, Pick n Pay, and some spas? Last week, we asked you which continent really loves virtual reality arcades. The answer to that one is Asia. The winner of the Philips LED light is someone who tweets as Gaps_Theo. Our producers will be in touch on Twitter. We are on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's take a quick break. Welcome back. Let's remind you about our competition again. You have to follow us on social media first. This is so you can stand a chance to win this LG V20 smartphone. It's the LG V20 smartphone. Once you have done that, then you can tell us which new digital payment method is accepted at some McDonald's, Pick n Pay, and Spa. If you get it right, then who knows, this smartphone could be yours. We are on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are giving away tech gifts this festive season, but on Twitter we ran a poll asking you if you would ever give a gadget for Christmas. Now, most people say they would if they could. This is followed by people who say no. The number of those who give gadgets as Christmas gifts seem to be quite small. The number of people who say they would if they could afford it is 55%, and those who say they would never give a gadget is 30%. Now, that's all we have for you. Enjoy what's left of Christmas Day. We will see you again on New Year's Day. Keep it safe out there. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Use network at sabc.co.za on email. From me, Spumelele Zondi, and the rest of the network team. Have a good one. Bye-bye. And remember that we are giving away the LG V20